Hello, friends. Welcome to Block Bytes. We all love blockchain technology. Over the years, it has been successfully adopted to create decentralized and open alternatives to Web2 applications in finance, data storage, social science, and AI, to name a few. But what about gaming? If you are even remotely familiar with crypto, you must have come across names like Axie Infinity and CryptoKitties, which are some of the most popular NFT-based games in Web3 right now. The current avatar of Web3 games centers around the concept of digital ownership. Players spend tens of hundreds of hours playing their favorite games. Still, the in-game items they earn have limited value within the game and no value outside of it. Converting these items to NFTs on chain does two things. First, it infuses value into them just like any other NFT, allowing for the creation of a new marketplace economy called GameFi, where players can trade or sell their NFTs to earn cryptocurrencies. Second, in-game items can be moved instead of being tied to an account, meaning that they do not go waste. In the current Web2 world, all in-game items like skins, currencies, etc. are linked to the account, and there is no way to move them between accounts. The only way to do this is to sell it via the centralized marketplace controlled by the game publisher. Moving from a centralized in-game only experience to a more integrated, open, and decentralized version empowers the creators and the player community, which is a win-win situation. Web3 gaming can potentially onboard millions into crypto since gamers know concepts like in-game currencies and items. Alex Connolly, co-founder and CTO at Immutable, says, gaming is the perfect candidate for spurring Web3 adoption, simply because there are so many gamers in the world who are already using, or rather already used to trading digital items and buying digital things. But converting in-game resources to NFT is only the beginning. The next evolution of Web3 gaming promises something quite spectacular. Let's understand this by looking at a spectrum of different versions of on-chain gaming. As you can see, in the beginning, games only had NFTs enabled for in-game items, followed by Web 2.5, in which the concept of GameFi emerged as an on-chain marketplace to trade these NFTs. In both these avatars, the game itself, meaning the code, the logic, and the world that runs the game, is kept off-chain on centralized servers. The latest version of crypto games, called Autonomous Worlds, promises everything on-chain, including the game itself. Here, the logic and state of the games are entirely on-chain, which means that their rules and progress are tracked using smart contracts, and all game data is on the blockchain, paving a path for interoperability. But why is this important? And does this actually serve a purpose? According to 1KX, an early stage investment firm, communities have consistently grown on top of the actual games. These communities comprise super enthusiastic players who come together to create mods. These mods were an extension of the original game with added features and in some cases entirely new games. For example, League of Legends and Dota were both based on Warcraft. Counter-Strike was based on Half-Life, and Fortnite was based on PUBG. Web3 gaming wants to encourage this level of community building by bringing games on blockchains. Autonomous worlds help do that. These can be infinite games, meaning that they function independently of their designers, are accessible to anybody, and evolve throughout time. Players in autonomous worlds can build their own expansions, resulting in a continually evolving bottom-up ecosystem. The games become protocols and worlds in their own right, inviting users to build on top of them accordingly. As you can imagine, at this point, autonomous worlds do not just remain as games. They can have their own currencies, markets, and economic rules, enabling new types of organizations to coexist with traditional economies. These games aren't just for fun. They also provide pathways to new institutions in the metaverse. This is good for creators, but what about the gaming companies? Why will they want this? In the traditional world, the base game do not get incentivized by the mods. And the laws also restrict the amount of change that can be done, limiting the level of modifications allowed in the actual game. This is not a problem in autonomous worlds, as the base world could be on a layer 1 or layer 2, with the individual extensions or user worlds on layer 2 or layer 3, allowing for a value accrual for the base chain or the game in the form of fees paid by these user worlds. The base game created by the company will have a perpetual means of money coming in. Think about each game being more like Roblox and the individual games that run on top of it as user worlds, but on chain. All right. But why blockchains? The advantage of having autonomous worlds on a blockchain is the composability of it. The open source nature of blockchains and the applications built using smart contracts allow developers to use what has already been created and improve upon it. There are no restrictions here. Let's take an example to see how this all comes together. Imagine League of Legends, Dota, and Warcraft were all made in the same world. Players can not only move around between these three games, they can also use items from one game in the other and trade between different players in all three games. Communities can then create a brand new game, a turn-based RPG, using existing in-game items like characters, weapons, and worlds from each of these games. The possibilities are endless, as you can imagine. And with more and more activity, the base game gets more and more money in the form of fees. But Web3 gaming is very early in its development. There are still several bottlenecks that make this a difficult challenge to tackle. First, it is expensive to build on-chain. Not only are transactions expensive, but sorting all the data related to a game will be a big challenge. Second, security-related concerns are always present in the world of smart contracts. The Ronin Bridge hack, in which players lost hundreds of millions of dollars of wealth, is a grim reminder of these dangers. Third, user acquisition for on-chain applications has always been a problem. There are multiple blockchains with their own ecosystems and users, but interoperability between them still needs to be improved. Not only that, the current predominant form of interoperability brings in its own sets of security challenges. And fourth, gaming is a very competitive space. Companies must iterate fast and keep their games relevant, requiring talent. Developers already working for traditional gaming companies need help shifting to Web3 because it uses different tools and programming languages. Now let's look at the current state of autonomous worlds. Several games already exist, along with infrastructure in game engines. Some popular game engines include Mud, Keystone, Argus, and Paima. Last month saw the biggest AW hackathon hosted by Lattice the company created Mud and ETH Global. In 5 days, over 400 gamers created 100 different projects using Mud. Crypto and smart contract technology has once again emerged as the proving ground for the next generation of applications. This time it is the world of games. Although there is a long way to go before we start seeing AAA games like Diablo or Call of Duty fully on-chain, we are currently witnessing the early stages of what could be called the future of gaming. I hope you like this video. Do like and share, and I will see you next time with another fresh bite. Bye.